and Viktor Gyokeres knows why he wants to join Arsenal. There's no doubt in his mind, he's pushing for it. Yes people, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about why Arsenal have to sign Viktor Gyokeres. Now, as you can tell, or you can probably guess, he's my priority. There's been an ongoing debate whether Arsenal will sign Benjamin Sesko or Viktor Gyokeres. For me, it's a no-brainer. Viktor Gyokeres is the man, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why. Let's go back to the start. Now, let's look into why people are doubting Viktor Gyokeres, because I sort of get it. I can understand why there are some doubts over Viktor Gyokeres. Now, he's playing in the Portuguese league to start with. So, playing in the Portuguese league, it's obviously not a top 5 European league. Viktor Gyokeres actually missed out on the European Golden Boot to Kylian Mbappe, as you get less points per goal scoring in the Portuguese league compared to La Liga, the Premier League, Serie A or Ligue 1. So that does give you an indication that scoring goals in the Portuguese league factually isn't worth as much. However, he has scored a bundle of goals. But let's look into his earlier career. Everyone knows Viktor Gyokeres started off in his home country of Sweden, but he did move swiftly on to Brighton. Now, at Brighton, he predominantly played for their under-21 squad. He did make some appearances in the first team for Brighton, playing 8 games, scoring 1 goal and getting 1 assist. Viktor Gyokeres' 1 goal and assist came in the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup. He played 4 games in that competition for Brighton, so that gives you an indication he was a bit part player. We know Brighton have an extensive talent pool. They're very good at recruiting players and young and selling them on for bigger fees, so this is no surprise that Viktor Gyokeres played at Brighton. However, Gyokeres was loaned out to Swansea, and I've spoken to a few Swansea City fans. Not that I know that many, but I've spoken to a few, and they told me he was awful, okay? They didn't rate him. He played 11 games for Swansea in the Championship and didn't score a goal. His goal for Swansea came in the FA Cup. So when you look at that, yeah, I can understand the worry. However, after Viktor Gyokeres' not so fruitful spell at Swansea, he moves on to Coventry City. Now, this is where Viktor Gyokeres began to make the name for himself. This is where you first saw that Mars celebration, the famous Mars celebration. That's the first place you saw it. And he hit the ground running at Coventry. He played 116 games in all competitions, scoring 43 goals and getting 17 assists. That's 60 goal contributions in 116 games, just over a goal or assist every other game. So you're beginning to see, you know, Viktor Gyokeres developing into his prime and becoming the player that I believe he is today. So in the league, he played 110 games for Coventry, scoring 41 goals and getting 15 assists. Now, many people talk about the Championship as being a good test for players that are looking to play in the Premier League. We've seen players like Liam Delap, who's now at Chelsea, Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, Jamie Vardy. There's so many players that have played in the Championship, forward players that have then gone on to be successful in the Premier League. I don't think this is something you can ignore. People often talk about Viktor Gyokeres not being, you know, proven at the highest level, and that is true. He hasn't necessarily proven himself in a league that is at a top level. However, the fact he could do what he done in the Championship with Coventry, where he effectively led them to the promotion playoffs single-handedly, that gives me an indication he's moulded for the English game. Some players you often look at, they're a bit slight, their first touch, their hold-up play isn't great. Viktor Gyokeres doesn't excel at that, but he's very physically dominant. He's not afraid of getting into battles. He'll run into places no one else wants to run, and he's got that grit that you need to be a lone striker in England. So for me, his time at Coventry does just paint a little bit of a picture of what he can do in England. However, Viktor Gyokeres doesn't stop there. Following on from his successful spell at Coventry, Sporting Lisbon, the Portuguese giants, develop an interest in Gyokeres. Sporting Lisbon signed Viktor Gyokeres for 24 million euros. What now seems a bargain. Sporting Lisbon probably didn't realise the player they were getting when they signed Viktor Gyokeres. I mean, he played 102 games for the club, scoring 97 goals and 28 assists. Now, I look at it, guys, and I just say, okay, yeah, it's in the Portuguese league, but with all due respect to the leagues I'm about to mention, it's not Finland, it's not Estonia, it's not Hungary. I mean, I don't really know much about them leagues, but I know the Portuguese league's a bit better. 97 goals for Sporting Lisbon in 102 games is impressive. It doesn't matter who the player is, what you think, it is impressive, okay? But I do acknowledge it is the Portuguese league. But let's delve a little deeper into the numbers, because for me, this is what does it for me. This is what convinces me. I wouldn't even call it a risk. I don't think we're taking a risk if we sign him back. I think this is why we have to go for him. Viktor Gyokeres played 66 games for Sporting Lisbon, scoring 68 goals and getting 17 assists. Now, 68 goals in 66 games, it doesn't tell you the type of goals. I know a large percentage of them are penalties. I haven't got the numbers to hand, but you have to score them. I believe he's got got 100% penalty record. Let me find this out. So yeah, I just checked. Viktor Gyokeres is taken 17 penalties in his time at Sporting Lisbon, and he scored all 17. He hasn't missed one. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really. He's taken penalties and he scored them. But we just go back to his scoring record. That's what gets everyone. 97 goals in 102 games in all competitions. People talk about the highest level. Let's look at his Champions League stats. He only played in the Champions League for one season. That was the season just gone. 8 games, 6 goals. Scoring against Man City in one of those games. And I know Man City they had a depleted squad at the time, so I understand, you know, it's not the same as, you know, playing the top Man City side, but he still scored. He gave Gabriel and Saliba a difficult night, although, you know, the best centre-back pairing in the league were obviously comfortable enough to deal with him, but he gave them a tricky night, hitting the post, testing David Raya. So after seeing Viktor Gyokeres play against ourselves and Man City in the Champions League, there was enough there for me. I saw this hunger, this grit, and to be honest, it's different. It's different to what Arsenal have. We've got a lot of similar players, I would say, or players that don't do what we need. And I think Viktor Gyokeres, many people talk about you don't get the same space you get in the Portuguese league as you do in the Premier League. I disagree. There's actually been more counter-attacking goals in the season just gone than any other season. The Premier League has become more transitional. You see the likes of Pep Guardiola and Arteta's passing patient style hasn't necessarily been as successful in the last season. Arne Slot, very transitional, leaves Mo Salah high, has relieved him of most of his defensive duties. You've seen the likes of Aston Villa, Unai Emery, who loves playing on the transition. They've had success from it. Newcastle with that brute midfield three who aren't the most technical. They are very good players, especially in Tonali and Guimaraes, but it's a physicality thing. And I think with Viktor Gyokeres, his physical attributes are what we need. I know Kai Havertz is about 6'4" tall. He's physical. He's a good hold-up player. He links play well. But you'll never see Kai Havertz pick up the ball, turn and run towards the goal. He's not great at carrying it. I've seen Viktor Gyokeres carry the ball from inside his own half towards goal, finish, cut back, finish. He's got them all. He's got every finish in his locker. Maybe minus the heading, but I'm pretty sure there's something he could work on. Not every club has a Bukayo Saka or Declan Rice on set pieces, so when you've got that level of ability on the delivery, I think you're looking at someone who's probably going to get more chances to score headers. I think Gyokeres puts more fear into the opposition than a Benjamin Sesko would right now. Maybe in a year or two, Benjamin Sesko would be a bit more threatening to opposition, but I think Viktor Gyokeres, if he came to the Premier League, there would be a lot of eyes on him, and I think defenders wouldn't want to play against him. Now, another comparison I want to make is Alexander Isak. Now, I just want to make it clear, if we could sign Isak or Gyokeres, I'm picking Isak. I think he's quality. I think he's one of the best strikers in the world, maybe behind Haaland only, and Mbappe if you consider him a striker. But for me, Alexander Isak's top. I'd love if we could get him, but we probably won't. But anyway, the reason I've mentioned Alexander Isak is obviously he's Swedish, Viktor Gyokeres is Swedish. They often play up front together. Weirdly, they both made their debut on January the 8th, but Isak made his debut for Sweden in 2017 and Gyokeres made his debut for Sweden in 2019. But we look at Alexander Isak's Swedish stats. Played 52 games, scored 16 goals. Now, we look at Viktor Gyokeres' stats. Played 26, scored 15. Gyokeres has scored one less goal than Isak in half the games. This talk of Viktor Gyokeres not being able to cut it at a top level or at a different level. He plays at the same level as Isak for the national team, and he's got a much better goal scoring record. It's not the be all and end all, but I'm just using that to show you that Viktor Gyokeres can do it in different environments. He's not a big fish in a small pond in Portugal where he's just bullying them. He does it on the international stage as well. His Champions League record shows he can compete with the best. So I think when you put him in Mikel Arteta's team as well, when you surround him with the likes of Declan Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, it's a team. He's not going to be playing alone. So I think when you put him with good players, you can see that he plays with Isak at Sweden and he performs. So his mentality for me is big. There's a few things to this that I want to go through in terms of his mentality. Now, as you can see through Twitter and people like Fabrizio Romano online, Viktor Gyokeres' agents are clearly trying to use the media to show Arsenal how much they're interested in him. This is what Fabrizio Romano tweeted this morning, the day of recording. He He tweeted, Viktor Gyokeres has already personally informed sporting president Varandas about his decision to leave, no intention to play for the club anymore. Gyokeres wants new chapter. He feels heartbroken after exit pack and not expected to return to training, as Ebola PT reports. That's a Portuguese outlet. So a lot of these reports are coming out via Portuguese media, but for me, some people might see it as a bad egg, someone who's trying to, leave their club in a nasty way. They're trying to force the transfer. However, it comes from the belief that Viktor Gyokeres had an agreement with the club, a verbal agreement, a pact that he could leave for less than his release clause value. And it seems Sporting had gone back on that. And this drive, this desire, Mikel Arteta often speaks about he doesn't want to have to convince players to join the club. They should know why they want to join. This is Arsenal Football Club. We're big. We're massive, yeah? They know why they want to join. And Viktor Gyokeres knows why he wants to join Arsenal. There's no doubt in his mind. He's pushing for it, okay? And I like that. Come over here, Viktor Gyokeres. We want you here. Not Benjamin Sesko reports that he wants a release clause in his contract. His agents mention we're not going to force Leipzig to sell unless a special club comes along. Well, if we're not special, Benjamin, we don't want you, okay? And it's as simple as that for me. So Viktor Gyokeres' urge, his willingness to play for the club, my club, it's just endearing to me, and it's another reason why I want him. I watched this video on Sporting Lisbon's YouTube channel. It's a day in the life. They go into Viktor Gyokeres' life. Based on that video, the day in the life, go and watch the full thing. It's really interesting to just see what type of personality he has. It's very calm demeanour. It's like a belief. He has a very he's got strong self-belief, and I think he knows he's in his prime. He takes his work very seriously. You can see he's very good with his health, his diet. He's on time. He's actually early to the training ground. And when you're scoring the amount of goals he's scoring at a club like Sporting Lisbon, and you've got the interest in you that you do, you wouldn't be blamed for taking your foot off the gas and maybe thinking you're the guy. But he's clearly still committed to his craft, turning up every day. And I don't know, he's just got this personality that I think would fit very well at Arsenal. And I think his mentality could actually lift the standards a little bit in the club, because I think he's very driven, he's very serious. For a man to go from playing in Sweden in his home country, taking that risk to go to Brighton, pushing to go on loan to Swansea, it doesn't work there, goes to Coventry, gets them into the promotion playoffs, leaves Coventry, goes to Portugal and leads his club to back-to-back league winning titles. I mean, the mentality's there for me. Do I think we'll sign him? I'm starting to think we will. I think Benjamin Sesko and his agent may have outpriced themselves with a move. I believe they're not going to budge. I don't think Leipzig are going to move on their valuation of Benjamin Sesko. I actually don't mind Benjamin Sesko. I think he's a good player. I'm a big fan of him. I just don't think it's what Arsenal need right now. I think we need someone who's in their prime, who's scoring goals, who feels like they want to move on to something bigger, and that's Viktor Gyokeres. Sesko and his agent, they're giving me vibes of, we can go to Arsenal, but if we don't go to Arsenal, we're not bothered, and that just doesn't sit right with me. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. I will reply. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!